What's good, y'all? I gotta be honest with you. I didn't know I was gonna be doing anything or going in particular live tonight. This was not my objective, but for some reason, I see that I set up for myself a live, and damn, it makes me wonder because for me, my my thing tonight was going to be for me to redo my entire stream deck. I got things like all over the place, and I kind of wanted to sort it out. But being that I had a live set up, and eventually I was gonna get rid of the live because I just saw it. I'm still warm, but I just got out the shower and shit, and I was like, wait, I got a live coming up. Oh shit. Well, I'm gonna I guess I'm gonna try to hold on to it, but I don't really remember everything I was gonna talk about. So actually, I'm just kind of like going through the motion right now. Cause I literally just scarfed down some food because I forgot to eat all day. So hold on, let me close my office door. So yeah, we're here. We're gonna go through whatever the hell might be happening. I'm not even too sure. I have no idea. Actually, let me go take a look right now. Is this like regular stream? Is this like a members only stream? Oh no, it looks like it's a everybody can just come in, just kind of have their own thing, kind of stream. All right. So, oh, Harbor Freight, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. We'll figure out as we go through what I want to talk about. There must be something on my mind before I went to sleep earlier in the day, and I need to figure out what it is. I've been doing a lot from our last live, and me just trying to sort out exactly some of the things that I want to talk about. I thought if anything, I would be doing a stream or at least dropping a video or something for probably tomorrow. I did not think it was going to be something for tonight, especially at 10 o'clock. So that really surprised me. But I had my other phone go off saying I had a notification for a stream. I was like, wait, oh shit. But I wanted to honor it, and I figured maybe some things will come to my mind. Uh, what did we talk about in the last stream? Actually, let me go take a look at the last stream right now, and then we'll flow from there. So my last stream, it was most people ignore their greatest advantages, and actually, I think I was talking about unfair advantages. That damn, and that was a 6 hour live, which will not be anything of this measure for tonight. Um, Lots of decisions, lots of reviewing of content, lots of me going out to take care of other stuff in real life took place over the events of the weekend. And if anything, I would have been doing a stream. I would have figured it would have been yesterday, the beginning of the week, but not. So, for one, my thought process right now is on Q3. So, for those who don't know, we are currently in Q2. I don't know why, if you're a grown adult working in the business world, any business world, then you should understand that we have quarters throughout the year. We are currently in Q2, and I've been thinking about what's going to be the driving force of Q3. And as much as the business, as much as the channel has always been about reflection, introspection, the things that normal people go through on a regular basis, I find myself within this year alone, just 2026, I find myself in some form repeating myself when it comes to people who would like the content. And it's not the majority of you. It's not the majority of you who feel that way. But there are people who feel like they want the content to be more of like what they see in other people's channels or other people's spaces or wherever the fuck they come from. You know what I mean? And I've been the same. I've been very consistent across the board in saying, no, fuck all that. Like I don't care where you come from and what you're used to and what space that you're in and what people that you like or whatever. That has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with the space. That has nothing to do with the overall premise of what the channel is about. You know what I mean? Like that's not what we do. It's never been what we about. And if that's something that's a problem with you, I mean, you can take your ball and you can go home. Um, I've been thinking about how we're moving forward in the channel, how things we're going to be um, making new additions to, as well as making some changes to subtract some things when it comes to the overall message, direction, and the flow of the way how things are going. For the most part, you're always going to get me. I'm the type of guy that I've always been. But I always say, as much as I am the one that have to be the driving force to get a lot of things together, I do tend to ask people, you guys who watch me, what are your thoughts? What are some of the things that you guys are interested in? And what exactly would you like to see from the channel, not about the channel or where the direction of the channel is going. Because that's not, first of all, until you decide that you want to be more of a driving force in that, you don't get a decision. Like straight up, you don't. Because given the opportunity, you guys will run anyone else's shit into a hole. Like, and I think there's a problem that we have with the casual viewer or the casual uh, peanut gallery. You know, well, Harbor, let me ask you this: when do you see me debate? You said you like when I debate. When do I debate? I think people often confuse arguments with debates. A lot of these people don't know what the concept of a debate is, or never have actually been in a debate. A disagreement is not a debate. People are allowed to disagree. So you have to actually point out a time where you can really say, like, I was in a debate. Because my channel is about understanding. It's not about proving people to be wrong. So that's a big thing. You know, and I think that really speaks into the message of a lot of people who tend to view my content. They're interested in debate content, but the truth of the matter is that most people have never really actually been to a debate or seen a debate in their actual lives. Because if they did, they would understand that the structure is way rigid, heavily moderated, and very controlled. And most people are just not part of that. I think some people just look at like uh Pierce Morgan or some other shit where people are just screaming all day and then they call that a debate. And I'm like, you really have no clue then. Like, you really don't have a clue. You know, and I think anyone that they believe that they just see arguments or yelling in general is considered to be a debate. And that's far from the truth. You know, context matters, and I think a lot of people blur the line when it comes to context. Um, you said you like debates in general. Well, what is in general? Because not all arguments are debates. Um, and I think too many people are just trying to prove that they know more than someone else. And I'm like, that's a dumb position to be starting from, just to be honest with you. Because there's always going to be someone who knows more and someone who's going to know less. Always. There's no singular person, no single person on this earth that knows everything, and no one knows something that they don't know. So it's kind of ridiculous. And also, I kind of reject the entire debate notion for a lot of spaces because let's just be honest, they debate the same shit. It's nothing new. It's a new face that they can wave at who says the same shit because they read from the same text or they heard from the same person. So this is the reason why I don't really get involved in, quote, debate culture. Also, because of the nature of just how I run my channel. People are allowed to disagree. And if I'm like, well, okay, well, cool, that's what you believe, whatever. If that's the end of it, was it really a debate? And I think this is the problem that people have with me. I'm just like, no. Because it's one thing if you want to reject what is honestly objectively true. You want to debate that, that's all on you. You want to say that you're right at the end of the day for something, I'm like, cool. But when things get when water lands on things, they are wet. You want to sit there and spend all your time for doing all yeah, that's not really the thing for me. um I don't have I like people having conversations, because honestly conversations are only going to be the way that you come down to the actual things that tend to be more likely to be true than anything else. Most people, even when they're quote debating, they're not debating facts, they're debating opinions, which I thought was gonna work out really well when I started my show Opinionated, because like they're just arguing out opinions. But my show was never about having debates; it was always about having conversations. I think the problem that we have, especially in a lot of the spaces that you see nowadays, is that it's really not about the conversation. I think it's about the people. It's not about the actual topic. It's about seeing the people yell continuously. It's not about the points that they're making. It's about seeing the fight, the infighting. It's not about anything that's actually being said. You could yell back and forth about pacifiers, and I think a lot of the people who watch that kind of content would be okay with it. Just and if whether you or anyone else doesn't agree with that or whatever, guess what? That's your opinion. But I've seen, like, I think if you argued about pacifiers, garbage trucks, dogs chasing down vehicles, whatever, you would get the same sense from people. It really wouldn't change anything because it's not really about the conversation. It is about the people. And I think that's where people tend to get things very confused about channels and, most of all, panels. It's become synonymous with a lot of people's minds that if there is a panel, there needs to be yelling and screaming. And I'm just like, that's crazy, because if you can just look beyond your simple based algorithm of the people that you like to follow and subscribe to, whatever, then you'll be surprised how many places that have panels, how many places, multitude of channels, by the way, multiple different amount of spaces, multiple ethnicities that don't really bother with that. And they have fire conversations and fire conclusions. And some people do get into very heated arguments, but it tends to be based on their interpretation of the same thing written. I just go, how did you guys both end up on the different sides of this conversation off of the singular thing? Not, not, this is how I see it in my family. It's like, well, we're both reading the same thing. This is how I feel about it. And then we get into your background or your family or how it happens with you personally. Okay, cool. But then we have to get down to something very important. What does it say? Not how do you feel? I think a lot of people just, at the end of the day, when you see it, it's based on how they feel. How they feel based on their own personal experiences, but it doesn't say what the premise of the conversation is. And a lot of people that I see in these spaces talk a lot about, in reality, in totality, how they feel. And mostly, not most of all, but mostly it comes from a place of anger or hurt because somebody did something or somebody said something and then they feel a way about it. So, no. The aspect of me just sitting around and trying to debate with people, that's a waste of my time. Because at the end of the day, if no one else, that means not me, not them, but also you guys who are watching, doesn't benefit from it, it's a waste of time. And the only thing that we have, without a shadow of a doubt, that we should be very cautious of how we spend is, in fact, that our time. And a lot of people just like they want you to be time wasters, and you wonder where all your time went, where all your effort went. You could have been hugging your children, or you could have been building up on the project, or you could have been building your own shit. That's why I tell you guys, start your own fucking channels, if anything. But you'll spend your time watching other people that gets nowhere. Now, if this was a very constructive conversation, a very constructive argument even, that'd be cool. But that's not what we tend to see in a lot of those other channels. Can we just keep it a buck? How many times are you going to keep arguing about whether if water is wet? Like how many times are we going to keep arguing that? And you say it's not, you're just saying that it may not be great to blab about topics. What do they blab about? The same old shit. You said and because it's not strong. Well, here's my thing. When you say a topic is not strong, what is the topic? And when you say strong, the definition of strong, how productive is it? Because strength is based on what? The outcome. What's the outcome? If the whole premise is just to argue but there's no outcome, it's not really strong. It's not strong. It's just a drain. It's not going anywhere. So you can't prove you're a strength if no one can really say that anything was really rectified at the end of it. And that's what I see in a lot of these conversations, these discussions. So I rather not. And and for the most part, like I said, it doesn't become really about the conversation, about the topic itself. The topic is hidden. The undertone is to see people yell. Now, if this was just the whole prove me wrong thing, I can see the point in that. Because you have a topic and you have a person and everybody now has to try to challenge that point. I can understand that. But when a topic is open and then you want to get people's perspectives, but then they lose perspectives because they're too busy insulting each other, that's not a debate. They start bringing shit into the conversation that has nothing to do about the actual topic itself. It's not a debate. It's not a debate. When I start watching two people that's supposed to be talking about, say, economics, and yet they get into a conversation that start talking about what somebody did on someone else's platform, or how you don't agree with that person because of the conversation that they had, that was a different conversation with somebody else on their platform or on their platform, then I'm like, this is not even a debate. It's not even about the topic, which means the entire point is lost. This is what people tend to see all the time, by the way. And until people can really lock down the point that needs to be there, I'm like, I don't want to engage in that. And the worst part about it is that if they don't know anything about you, they'll make up shit about you. Because you know what they just need to do? Look at you and prescribe you to something or someone else that they've seen. And to me, I'm like, this whole thing is just the D word, disingenuous. It's not about having a talk. It's not about having solutions. It's not about benefiting anyone else. It's not. Oh shit, Ruckus, what's good, man? How you been, man? Yeah, it's not. No, I hear you, Harbor. Like, you're allowed to have your opinion, but my opinion has been like, there's really no sense in wasting time that's precious. Other things could be done. It's not about what. And by the way, it's not even a matter of who is smart or not. If the ideal is to be right rather than to be effective, there's no point in even engaging. That's my thing. Because do you believe that anyone else, even if they acknowledge you're smart, whether it's me or anyone else, does it mean that they're not thinking, I'm going to prove that I'm smarter than you? And if that's the premise, what's the point? Because I'm thinking to myself, how does that help the audience? How does it help you guys watching that? Does it make you make a better decision in your life? Does it help how you have to deal with your coworkers, your friends, your family member, your spouse? Does it help you make a better decision in business? Does it help you get yourself to that new promotion that you wanted? Like, what does it do? Most people who I see in this platform, it's just showboating. It's just saying, look, mom, I'm special. And that's just really not for me. It's just not for me. I don't find enjoyment out of that. It's annoying. It would be nice to find someone, as you say, like, who would be a good discussion partner. But if it's all about just attention seeking, how good are they going to be as a partner? Because it's not about the discussion. That's why I think they wouldn't be a good discussion partner if everything is about attention seeking. And the worst part about it is that a lot of the people who I even see in some of these in these debate panels don't even have channels. So it's really bad because now you're not even getting anything from it. You're not even getting a following or anything from it. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it because what? I guess enough people don't really see you in your real life. Like why? Why are you subjecting, like, I'm reading and like, why would you do this? Why? I don't get it. And by the way, Harbor, this is the reason why a lot of people like they just don't understand because they can't get past the surface level. So then they accuse other people of doing the same thing. I get people that do that to me all the time. You say you see me as a human resource mind. The funny part is that I'm not human resource. I've never worked for human resources. I'm just I'm trying to be very analytical because my whole point is not to prove who's wrong. My entire point is to get the whole thing where you guys are sitting there thinking about it and then have you guys reflect and go, do I do that? How many people do I know that do that? Maybe I should be auditing myself. Maybe I should start thinking about how I interact with other people. That's a lot of my content. Even though people don't want to agree with it because they're so used to seeing what they want to see, which is fast food content, you know? Like it is just that simple. It really is that simple. Like the whole aspect of being out there, attention seeking and doing everything else like that, it's just really not it's really not for me at all. So he can go back to another channel. I did block you. I did block you because you're part of the thing that I'm talking about. Now that I just think about it, now that I see you, attention seeking. Like it really ruins a lot of what a lot of people are going through on their channels. And a lot of people who have a particular theme or thing that they're going through. But there are other people who come in and then ruin it for everybody else. Like the person I just talked about right now. Through many aspects and many patterns, and then after a while you just have to stop giving people opportunities. It's just that simple. You have to at some point you have to stop giving people opportunities because people you're it's not my responsibility to make people change or to have people change. My responsibility, at least for my channel, is to bring forth a conversation that should be normal to everybody else's understanding and then make decisions as to where they are in their life and whether if they want to or not, because I don't know your guys' lives. If you see this, should you make changes in your life or are you really good where you are? But for a lot of people, they see channels like mine and instead of seeing it for what it is and how it's supposed to be for you guys, they see it only as an opportunity to get themselves known. That's not the purpose of the content. This is not a wanted ads. You know, this is not for you to showcase yourself. This is not what the purpose of the channel is. It's nice if people know who you are and you can have a conversation without other people screaming at you and putting you down. Because you have how many other places that you can go to that where people do that, especially as a content creator. You have a plethora of places that probably already hate you. But if you manage to come to my channel, hopefully this is a place that you can go to where you won't have to receive all that hate. You can actually get whatever's off your chest that doesn't have to do with other people. You can actually exercise your actual intelligence. And that be it. And then you can go about your merry way. But that's not what people want to see. People want to hate watch. They want to follow you wherever you want to go. They want to see if they can verbally crucify you or if they can chase you off the internet. And I just go, okay, let's just say you manage to chase somebody off the internet, right? What are you going to do next, huh? Now you got to find somebody else. Because I'll be honest with you, once the person's gone, you're not going to care. It won't even feel like a victory because now you're bored. Now you got to start all over again. You know? No, you're not blocked. I'm reading what you say. I don't have again. I don't have a problem with people questioning my thoughts. The problem is this, Harbor. People have a problem accepting that your opinion. I know, Cake Mix. I know. I already been new. I've seen you in other people. I've seen you in blind shit, so I know. The issue that I have is that people don't want to respect other people's opinions. That's the problem that I have. People do not want to respect other people's opinions. If I disagree and you question my thoughts and I still disagree, that's rather the end of it. The whole aspect of agreeing to disagree is something that for some reason when it comes to being online it cannot be tolerated. Like that, no, we can't have that. I'm gonna say that it's okay that we agree to disagree, but then I'm gonna keep trying to convince you. Then you have no respect. And that's a problem for me. That is a strong problem for me. Because people will come off and say things like that they are very respectful, that they understand that people have different positions. Well, then when someone states their position, they just go, "Well, that's you. That's not me." You gotta let that go. You got to let that go. But a lot of people don't do that. They'll say, "Yeah, I get it. I just want you to see my point." Okay, I saw your point, and you saw mine. That should be the end of it. That's not what happens. They go forward trying to convince you, trying to double down, trying to triple down. I'm like, you can quadruple down. My position is not gonna change strictly because you feel strongly about yours. Now it's at a point where you're being disrespectful. And that's what I see in a lot of the people that are online, which is why I do not waste my time because I watch enough people that when people are like, it would be great if you talk to that person. By the way, they don't say talk to that person, they say debate. And I'm like, if that is your premise right off the bat, the answer is a resounding no. I have better things to do. Because at some point where the conversation not going anywhere, it's gonna go to petty squabbles, petty insults, talking shit about someone's setup or the people that they hang around. Like other people just start catching shrapnel. They just stray shots everywhere. Like it becomes less about anything. And I'm just like, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, what time is it? I can't believe I spent this amount of time for it to just devolve into this. Me just questioning my decisions. I mean, not for nothing. Why do you think that for a long time I just totally distanced myself from doing panels altogether? It's just not worth my time. And then the same people that come through, well, no, I will do this or I could do that or I'll change. Like, no, 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 no. Do not change for me. Change for yourself. And you will be blocked because there's nothing that you're doing that helps me personally. You going back and forth with me doesn't help me. It doesn't help my channel. It doesn't help the people that are looking to have any kind of introspective ideals. You're doing it for attention seeking for yourself, which is not the message for the platform. And a lot of people don't get that. And I've had to have this conversation with many people. Many people. To the point where I just stopped having those conversations. I'm just now, this is just not the right fit. So I'm not gonna go back and forth. I'm just gonna boop, and that's it. I know people want to think, but I need you to go back and forth. It doesn't help. It never helps me. It's never helping my platform. And to be honest with you, if you're not a content creator, it doesn't help you. Sure. What would you like to say to change the subject to? To me, To me, I didn't expect I was gonna be doing this live. Like I said, it just kind of was there, and I'm like, oh shit. Um, for me, I'm gonna put myself more on a more diligent schedule. Um, whereas everyone, don't know, couldn't tell you. You know, this is like when it comes to my channel, it's like lurker season. You know what I mean? Everybody just likes to sit back and just watch because they're trying to figure out what they should do with me. You know what I mean? It's really what they're trying to figure out what to do with me. It's not that people don't watch, by the way. They don't respond because they're trying to figure out what to do with me. They don't like anomalies. And I've been an anomaly for a while. Surely you would have figured that out by now. They've been trying to figure me out since 2024. They've been trying to figure out what they should do with me since 2024. And they're very not happy with the fact that I've been very reluctant to just following along. Everybody's been trying to convince me. And I just slowly go, yeah, that's just not really my thing. It's not really my thing. You say you never trolled me. I mean, okay. I mean, I think some people don't really think of even that aspect of them trolling. And I'm not saying you in particular, but I've seen people like when they do see trolls, what happens is that the trolls will do things, and because they found that interesting, they jump on. I'm not saying you again. I've seen people who are like, I'm just watching, I'm just going, huh, I'm talking and I'm watching, I go, so because they said it, now you're gonna jump in with that too. And that's why I say you gotta be very careful as a content creator. I don't have a problem with haters. I don't have a problem with trolls because that's not a sign that your platform is going down. That's actually a sign that your platform is doing well. There's nothing you can do without getting haters. And I'm telling you that in any aspect of life, there's nothing you can do about it. Whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, whether you're at work, whether it's content, there's nothing you can do about that. That's actually a sign. But choosing to let haters breathe will corrupt the other people who are trying to get on your message, who's trying to get on your program. And haters believe that they have the right. They have the right to follow you, to harass your chat, imagine this. You're here in the chat, and because they see you, because now they can see your name, they can click on your profile, now you are an unwilling participant. They start tagging you and shit. They start dragging you and shit. They start asking. They see you in other people's chats and they start, oh, you're that fucker who I saw at These are the people that you do not allow in your spaces. You don't do that. And unfortunately, like that kind of behavior, it breeds. It's not a one-off thing. It breeds because people confuse that with entertainment. I say if you're at least gonna troll, you should at least be fucking funny. You should at least be entertaining, not distracting to the message, not distracting to the chat, not when there's a shit ton of people out there. You're sitting there spamming the chat and drowning everybody else out the conversation. And anyone who's been watching me long enough has seen all this. And at some point, you just gotta be like, you know what? We gotta be more ruthless. But here's the next thing, because you say like, you would never try to upset me. Here's the thing about this, right? It is not up to you whether I get upset. Me being upset is my thing. And typically, I'm not really upset with people. Rather, I'm disappointed because a lot of people will hear the same messaging that comes from me, and this is why I say it's not about me. Well, a lot of things they're doing is really not about me. It's about attention seeking. And at some point, you got to just put your foot down and say, I can't stop you from trying to ruin things for everybody else. I can't stop you. Now, I'm not even saying you in particular. People who just have this mindset, I can't stop you from trying to ruin things for everybody else. But I can try to mitigate everything you do by, for one, just stop giving you any airtime. I mean, look at it this way. I've literally had to block one man on 16 different accounts. Think about that. Double digits, 16 different accounts. What does that say? I gotta turn around and block other men, because it's mainly men, who have a plethora of accounts, so they can keep switching up to try to make themselves be known on your platform, rather than just doing the hard work and building themselves on their own platform. They want to make a name off of you. They don't want to make a name off their own work. You know what I mean? And ruining it for everybody else. That's a problem. Because I say I don't get anything from this. I don't understand what's the obsession of following me. Unless they see something that other people don't. They see potential in me, which is cool. I see potential in myself too. But I'm also on the slow grind. And I talked about this in my scenario on my last stream too, about the whole video game analogy. There are people who just, instead of just doing what they gotta do, they become monsters on the road that try to slow other people down. And you gotta have the fortitude to be able to go past them. I agree. I agree. Some trolls are just there to disrupt. But I say, but disrupt what? Because if you can't prove to do anything better, what are you disrupting? I mean, do you? Let me honest opinion. How many trolls that you know, or rather, how many content creators that you know, have stopped doing content because of trolls? How many? How many content creators have just said, "I'm leaving. I'm done with this because I just can't deal with the trolls"? How many? If they're really getting engagement and there's so many people, because here's the thing, trolls are like 1%. Trolls are 1% of the people that watch you. So how many people have actually left? Like this, like, and then maybe this like a thing with like early, like late millennials and like freaking Zoomers or whatever like that. It's Generation Z. Like they're like, it's just so easy to get bullied and they just quit. But not me. I grew up in the beginning of this shit. We bullying whatever. I don't care about none of that. I just think you should be funny if you're gonna be a clown. Because being a dick does nothing for me. Being a dick does not upset me. You want to attack me? It's whatever. I worry like when it bothers my chat, when I have other people that reach out to me and say, "Yo, why do you tolerate this person?" Because that happens. Why do you tolerate this person? We was having a good time until that person came in, and then they started doing this, and that, and the third. And when I see a pattern and they're making sense, I got to do something about it. I can't let shit slide no more. And that's when people start, oh, especially the same trolls. Oh, why you got a problem with it? Too much patterns. Now I got to do an audit. Now I got to go back into previous streams, previous years. I got to look you up to see where you were in all the previous times. I got to take a look at some of the shit that you did. And I gotta move accordingly. Damn. You said some people are just dehydrated and they need a drink. I could pull you up, KM. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I don't have that up, do I appreciate you, KM. Oh, there's another reason, Mike. Another reason, because people are panel junkies, right? So they're like, oh, well, give me a drop a link. I'm like, what makes you think I live on a link? Oh, actually, my shit was up. Damn, that was crazy. I was up there. Hopefully that's triggered to be back up there. But like it's crazy. I don't know why I didn't see that on my screen, but I just saw it for a quick second over here. Like, I hear you. I just find it very very weird because a lot of people, oh, well, why don't you drop a link? I'm like, who told you? Like, honestly, if you've been following me for some time, right, then you would understand that I don't need to have a panel to have content. You know what I mean? I don't need a panel to have content. I think I've proven that over and over again. I literally made that my whole thing for an entire year just to be able to prove a point. Because in 2024, you guys saw a lot of panel content from me. In 2025, good the fuck luck. Good luck. And actually, that reminds me of something. It's something I should go take a look at right now. Hold up. Because I think that is going to be something important to some people in the future. Let me go take a look at something. Let's go to a studio. Let's check out some lives. Because I think it's going to be very important in the future. I don't know. Just a catalog in my head. Well, actually, here's where I can find it. We don't have to go to lives. You just got to go to videos. Where are you? Okay. All right. That's cool. So we've already passed the threshold of that. All right, cool. That says something to me that's gonna be pretty good, and we'll keep doing that until we reach the next continuum of this chapter. I just think I find it very very odd for you guys, like for so many people that are just so stuck on what they think things are and not what they actually are. A lot of people will be stuck on how they believe the internet or how people's spaces are, and I'm like, you can. This is so weird. You can just open your eyes and see the world the way it is. But let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. How many of you guys see only one type of thing because that's the only thing you look at? But you can easily get caught up on a show that has nothing to do with what you normally look at, and you be like, I thoroughly enjoy that. I think a lot of people do because I know I do. I do. But when it comes to seeing someone that you met in particular places, you don't want to see that person for who they really are. That's the problem that I see in my content. Well, that's the problem that I see in the spaces that I have with you guys. What the hell? Yeah, that's the problem that I'm having in a lot of the spaces that I meet people in, and this is why I will have no problem having a private conversation with somebody or something like that. But when someone's like, oh, oh, what's going on? I'll drop a link for you. I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's up? Why don't you want? Cause I'm just not in the mood for nigga babble. I just don't. I don't care. I don't think you're being a mess. You've been pretty decent. I mean, I can't control whether you want to stay or not. My rule 3 has always been the same. Exercise that button if you feel like exercising that button. Nothing I can really say to you about that. I didn't even think I was going to be live. I'm surprising myself. I said I need to put myself on a more rigid schedule. I think so many people are. This is honestly. This is why I distance myself from so many people so early, but also why I get so disappointed because I see potential in people, right? But the same people who want to say that they think that they're this and they think that they're that and they think they have potential, but I'm like, okay, well, if you think you have potential, why aren't you using it? Because I see potential. So why are you not enacting on it? Why is it so easy for you to get distracted? Why don't you put your fucking head down and actually start doing shit? Stop saying what you want to do. One of the things I already said from 2026 is like, we gonna just stop saying shit. We just gonna start doing shit. Even when And sometimes I just want to tell you guys some of the things that's on my mind, but I'm just like, I really can't. I'm like, I'm just gonna put myself like kind of on a schedule. I'm just gonna kind of sit through it because I just don't understand people who are like, and I've seen this a lot too, by the way, because I don't understand this. No disrespect to anyone who wants to do it, but I think at some point you need to start auditing yourself. This is going to be this is going to be a little a friendly thought from one creator to another creator. If you are averaging, let's just say, the same people, screw like the whole number thing. Like numbers thing is very important. Like, but if you're averaging the same people in your lives, and there's more, and you don't really get anything outside of your lives, and you're doing considerable hours, and last and you do all this because you want growth, I do not understand why you are streaming every day. In my mind, unless you don't work for a living, if you are streaming every day, you don't have time to develop your craft. You don't have time to learn new shit. You don't have time to work on shit to make it stick. To have something that's uniquely yours. You don't have time. You don't have time. You don't have time to create your own image. You don't have time to create your own graphics, your own sounds, your own theme, your own. These are people who I tend to know who are being carried by the content, not them carrying the content. Let me say that again. These are people who I tend to know who are being carried by their content. They're not carrying the content. And I appreciate you for dropping that 10 as well. You said KM's the GOAT. KM is definitely a GOAT. You said disappointed. That's a good one. Yeah, I am. I am disappointed. And it's to the point where I let people know, like I'm just really disappointed. I let them know that I'm disappointed. By the way, not that they should care, you know? I just trying to I look at them and I'm like, you say the shit that you say, but you don't do the shit that you should do. And that's where I'm disappointed. Because you want people to recognize you, but you don't put in the work to be recognized. That's a problem. Like, that's just the way how I look at it. I know there are plenty of people who saw me early on, and by the way, and I've had people say like, you should be live more often. And I'm just like, do you understand that there was a time where I was live fucking 5 days a week? And I did that for like at least a solid half a year. Do you not understand that? And I just saw people coming in, but I didn't see my channel really growing like that. And I damn for sure did not see a change in my content. It wasn't until I took good breaks and really focused on my shit is to where I got better, where I could actually say that my channel was my own and it wasn't like somebody else. Because honestly, I'll ask you guys this, right? I'll ask you guys this. When you see me live, right? When you see my videos, you see me live, you see my shorts, right? What does my channel, who does my channel, who do I, there's three questions in that, remind you of? Who do you know that you watch or whatever that you can say, when I watch Resla, regardless if it's his shorts, his live streams, or his videos, I'm reminded of said creator? Who would that be? I'm fucking curious. Who's that? Who would that be? Who the fuck would that be? And I'm really curious if you mentioned someone in that particular space. I'm really curious. Who would that be? better be careful with that, KM. People might think that you're glazing. Might be, you might want to throw a little hate my way sometime. You know what I mean? People might say that you're glazing. You better hold up on that. Oh, listen. You say that as well. I would also say that as well. Oh, that I'm on your nerves a lot. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's good. That's good. I would say that and you're right for the most part. I am a loner. By the way, there's nothing wrong with being a loner. But when I say I'm a loner, it's not because I'm a loner in the aspect of content. It's not that. It's just that when I look for people who I could say do content with, because somebody was talking about this earlier this year. I'm trying to remember the young woman that was writing it, and I can't remember their name. I can't remember their username, but it was like you don't really collaborate with people, and I'm just like, did you not see like the entire like 50 fucking something episodes of the DVD? I don't collaborate with people. What? I can collaborate with people, but I see there's not a lot of people that don't do the same old shit. Same old shit. I'm not here to just be doing the same old shit. And you gotta find the right person that fits your vibe. I mean, you were saying it earlier, Cake. You were saying it earlier. Partner with somebody that you got the right vibe. Most people they don't. They just think, well, I got numbers and you got numbers, or we share the same amount of people, and we could just. And I'm just like, that's not enough. Especially if you are an attention seeker, because you have to know where to share. You have to know when to pick up and also when to shut the fuck up. And there are some people like you just they can't do that. Someone has to catch and someone has to throw, and it needs to be the other way around. And I think there's a lot of people that just don't know how to do that. I also don't want to be in some of these situations, weird situations, where you think you found the person that's like, look at them, they're the dynamic duo, just to see somewhere down the line that is a huge fucking fallout and it makes no goddamn sense. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, what could have possibly happened that after all this time of you guys working together, like for instance, let's just say hasn't happened. I know we haven't been really picking up on stuff, but we're in talks. But let's just say me and OG, after doing so much time with the DVD and everything, we're just let's just say we don't want to do it anymore. Does there need to be this whole big now the debauchery that now that he's talking shit and he's talking shit and he's dropping receipts and he's dropping receipts and I'm not doing none of that shit. It's not happening on my side. Y'all could be hitting me up on Discord and everything. Oh, he's talking shit. You can be hitting me up. Oop, I almost said something I wasn't supposed to say. He could be I almost let that drop. He could be hitting me like you guys be hitting me up talking about, oh, he did this and he dropped this. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm all right. I'm all right. We're good. It's all right. Everything is Gucci. Like, let's go, Hoover. Yes, it's a sweater in June, and you know why? Cause your boy's always cold, cold blooded. It's cold blooded, Hoover. That's why. Sometimes I gotta try to stay warm. Shit, I got to say be sometimes cold. I'm just saying. Gravity's in the building as well. What's good, Gravity? You said I remind you of I don't know who that is. Oh, you said, oh, it's an Egyptian. Oh, I don't know how I remind you of them. I don't. You have to tell me how old you are. That's quite interesting. Yeah, tell me how old you are, because I don't know. Talking about Egyptian pharaohs. Shit. But that's just really what it is. So again, it's not like I'm against talking with people or collaborating with people or anything. In fact, I mean, if you really think about it, what I've been saying to you guys for years now, for over 2.5 years, everybody's a part of your network. You should be building rapport, everybody. Now, building rapport does not mean that you have to or that you should work with everybody. But it's good to know somebody. It is good to know what they're about. It is good to know their strengths and their weaknesses. It is good to keep in touch with them sometimes. Doesn't mean you're always going to do it, doesn't mean you should be consistent at it. But it's good to have somebody in your network. But it doesn't mean that everybody that you come in contact with is someone who's going to be good for you and your growth. Because you guys don't always see things the same way. I agree with that as well, KM. But I've also seen people, right, who will communicate with dumbasses because they're dumbasses. And even if they are a dumbass, right, the people who tend to be smart enough are going to do something that ultimately is going to hang the both of them. They're going to take this person for granted because they're going to use the fact that they believe or they know this person to be a dumbass, and they're going to use them to get ahead. And here's the sad part about that, right? When shit inevitably hits the fan, for the content. That's what I mean, for the content. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they want to put them in bed. I don't know. It could be for OF. It could be whatever. I don't know. I was just thinking content, but I didn't think about what kind of content. It could be spicy content. You know what I mean? For all we know, I don't know what's their relationship. I don't. I was just saying in general, but now that you say it, like for the content though, right? Now I'm not even sure. It could be content. They could be making flights. They could be doing spending time. Whether it's the Duke shoot or whether they're scissoring, I don't know. Like it, people when they have all kind of weird, hey, hey. So, um, the problem is that at some point when shit falls apart, what you'll come to realize is that that dynamic that they put together, are they able to stand on their own when they're no longer together? And I think that's something very important because I think you'll find for a lot of people they're not able to. And I think Harbor, you said it earlier with the whole yin and yang. People are not able to stand on their own. You said, "What do I think about the Carmelo Anthony case?" I don't think about it. I do not think about it. People have brought it to my attention. I have seen content on it. I mean, if you really want to know who has a thought on it, you should go check out Cellulite Podcast. He's definitely got his own thing. He had a whole stream. I don't even know if he's still live doing it now. But for me, since you asked me, I don't think about it. It's just, it's not for me. I have my own thoughts as to why it should take place, and I think I was having this conversation on OG Do Dirty's channel, um, but I was like, I'm only gonna be like a juror. I'm gonna take the evidence that was there. I'm gonna compile as much of an assessment that I can, and then I'm going to deliberate based on what's there. My feelings, my personal feelings, skin tone, and all that shit is gonna have to. It's gonna get checked at the door. I have to check it out the door. I'm not gonna talk about the history of other people or whatever. We're not gonna bring up George Floyd or other cases that are outside of this case. We're like, I'm just gonna stick to what was given to me. So you know why? You know why I'm gonna do that? So I can fucking leave. So I can go back to my actual life. That would just be the truth. So if a jury came down and said that basically he gets 35 years or whatever, I'm gonna be like, Compton. He got 35 year. I'm not gonna sit here and say why it's wrong that he got 35 or da da da. I thought it was 25 alive. Oh, he shouldn't have got that. He should have gotten 12 or community service only or nothing at all. Like that's eh eh eh. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Regardless of what the sentence was, it already happened. That's for him and his lawyers now. There's nothing that you're going to do by bitching about it that's going to change a damn thing. There's nothing you're going to say, no, well, it's not wrong. And I got so and so. I have my show and all my followers. I got millions of subscribers who believe in the same thing that I believe in. And because there are millions of subscribers across the nation that believe it. And we international, baby. We international. That we believe that he deserves his due process. I'm like, he got 35, right? Does that stop you from having to go to work tomorrow? No. You got to go to work. You going to protest your job? Like, I'm just like, leave me alone. And not that you've done this, Cake. Not that you've done this, but I've literally had somebody walk up to me and ask me what my thoughts were on Carmelo Anthony, and I just say, are you asking me because I'm black? Put them on their heels. Why are you asking me? Why did you even assume that I would know? I put them on their heels. It was quick with the back. No. I didn't see you walking around asking anyone else what they thought about. You walked up to me. I got a basket. I got fruits. I got vegetables. I got some garlic. I got all this shit I'm about to buy. Because you want to make conversation. You don't know me. We're in the supermarket, and you want to ask me my thoughts of him? Why did you ask me that? They're like, never mind. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean anything by it. You didn't mean anything by it. You didn't ask the white person in front of me. You didn't ask the Asian person in front of her. You did you asked me. Why me? Why me? What even if I'm black, what makes you think I would relate? Is it because I'm black? No. It's not that. It's not that. They're gonna hit you with I got black friends. It's not that. I got black friends. She gonna hit me with the my boyfriend's black. My boyfriend's black. I don't mean that. Cause you know what I'm worried about one day? It's funny, like, so you're saying that, right? Oh no, I agree with that, Hoover. I get that. I just think it's like, interesting. I mean, I get that too, KM. You're saying he shouldn't just have any. Oh, okay, I would agree, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta stab somebody. I'm just gonna put it out there. Sometimes you gotta protect yourself. Sometimes the only way, what's the saying? Shoot first, ask questions later. You don't try to get all the details there when you feel like your knife is on the line, but this was a different circumstance altogether, right? Right? You don't know if well, first of all, you don't know if Carmelo knows how to fight. Like, you don't know if he knows how to throw a punch. Like, we don't know this. We don't know this. And there was a whole group of people, so he didn't want to catch a whole beat down in his life. Have you not watched WWE? You think he's gonna be in the Royal Rumble? Do you know what it's like to get jumped? Have you seen like World Star Hip Hop or something? You think anybody want to kind of go through that? Like, probably not. Have you not seen like the brawls at like Popeyes and KFC and shit like that? Do you think you want to be a part of that? I don't think so. I don't think you want to be a part of that. Have you ever seen what a bar fight really looks like? A big bar fight brawl? Like, you got to make a lot of split decisions. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just gotta put one down. Again, not defending it. Not defending it. I am not defending it. Don't stand up and say this whole court is out of order. I mean, I hear you. I hear you. I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot of injustice that happens out there and everything. So, but are we gonna say that every time we don't get our way, it's injustice? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I leave it up. I leave it up to the jurors. All I can say is that I was not raised, nor do I have that kind of capacity in my mind where I would make such a terrible mistake, even at his age. Because even at his age, we can see that he is still a young and intelligent person. He's no dummy. So, but let's be honest, people who are quote intelligent also do stupid things. This is a if I wanted to cover this case, right? Don't get me wrong, it was a trending thing. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about it. If I wanted to tackle the aspects of the case and follow that and everything, I don't want to just follow under the whole aspect of just being a reactor and commenter. I would really try to look at the evidence and try to follow the behavior behind it. But also, since I don't just sit on my ass following court cases and juries and reading transcripts and shit all day because I got an actual life and trying to live myself, I'm not gonna do that. But I would be looking for the behavior. I would be thinking about the behavior of the Anthony family, the mindset possibly in Carmelo, his parents. Same thing for the Metcalf family, the transcripts, what was going on with the judges, and we can't really get the jury, but not the judge, no, not the jury, not the judges. I meant the lawyers. What was going on possibly through the minds of the lawyers, like that, whatever the case may be, and we would just go through that. I would look for the human behavior aspect. The problem with me even thinking about going through the human behavior aspect of it is the fact that how many haters would just turn around and say, "Oh, so you just not gonna make a decision, or you should believe this because he's black, or this person because we just believe in justice, or you're dumb because you can't see the obvious thing," or it wouldn't matter. Like it really wouldn't matter. And I think so many people are just so quickly to look for gotchas or any reason to say why your position is a dumb position than simply the fact that the decision is not yours at the end of the day. It's not your decision. That's my position. It's not your decision. Like it's just not your decision. You gotta let it is what it is. You said you've seen a real bar fight? So have I. It's the only bar fight I've been to. Not in. Been to. Not in. Like, okay. You say with both family lost. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you want to change the subject again? Well, you want to change the subject to this time? Okay, yeah, it was your topic, by the way. That was your topic. Yeah, I really don't put that much into it because everybody has an opinion, but at the same time, it's like unless you want to represent them, nothing you can do about it. So, so I mean, I might want to go to your if you got lawyers, you go to your lawyer content creators and go see how they feel about it. I'm pretty sure they're all gonna say pretty much the same thing. Before people who get mad at them want to go check their political card. Oh, that's why he says it because he's because she's I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna be like, well, the situation wasn't in your hand because you could have been a defender, you could have been a prosecutor, you could have been a judge, but you're not. You're a viewer. So how you feel doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, or maybe some of these people are really upset because maybe they donated to the gives and goes. Maybe they're upset. You know, like my $10 didn't go out to take care of the situation the way I thought it was gonna be. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It's not it's not my worry. You know, your feelings don't matter. Your feelings don't matter unless you have to be personally affected by it. Your feelings don't matter. If this was your kid, I would understand. Outside of that, how you say how you send? Be honest. What do you mean how you send? You mean like to gives and goes? I don't know. I didn't know it was a thing until this court case. I didn't know it was a thing, and I can tell you, I didn't send one solitary dime. Damn, should I have said the word solitary? That's fucked up. I didn't send anything, not one dime. Oh, how much? No, I didn't send a damn thing. I guess I shouldn't have said the word solitary. That was crazy. Didn't send anything. I'm trying to figure out what I really want to say because I got some projects that I'm working on, and I'm just not ready to say yet. I'm trying to think of everything I'm trying to get going for Q3. They raising money for him. Oh, man. I'm definitely not gonna hear anything about somebody raising money for anyone else if no one's raising money for me. That's what I be caring about. I would throw my whole emotion if somebody was out there raising money for me. But then again, I made it very difficult for people to find me. So there you go with that. I always have projects. I'm just not saying what those projects are, but I always have projects. I'm always doing something. I always am trying to find a new angle. But I haven't said anything to anybody. When you get it, you'll get it. And right when you get it, I just gotta hit you with the D'Angelo. How does it feel? Bow, no, no, bow. That's just the way it happens. So as much as I would just like to say, you know what? Let me zip down his pants and just let you hold it. I'm not gonna do that. You're just gonna get the sneaky, just hot on your face. I told you that. For one, gotta stop saying shit ahead of time because either A, people are gonna try to hold you to it, and if you weren't ready, you weren't ready. You shouldn't have been talking about your measurements, your dick size if you wasn't ready. So there goes that. The second thing is because you want to get ready, because you trying to do things, because you trying to implement things, you say things ahead of time. Your haters are gonna try to get in your way. They're gonna do everything that they can to get in your way. See, if it was UKM, if I told you, I don't think you would try to fuck me. Well, he might try to fuck me, but at least I think you would bring a partner. You can make it a 3-0 or a trio or whatever. It'd be all good. You know, the more the merrier. You know what I mean? So it'd be all good. But other people, I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't tell them. You gotta worry about like, and actually like we gotta be very careful on how many in the trio or whatever, because you know some people like they open their mouth and then like shit just gets a little too wild. So like very small knit group. But even though I haven't told anybody, You know. All right, calm down, calm down, calm down. You ain't got to express. You ain't got to express that much feeling for me. Damn, shit. Shit. She a little too animated on that one. So, I mean, what else you guys are trying to bring up? Oh, in case you guys was wondering, I did make some decisions. Cake was here earlier for it, but I did make some decisions. I need to start really taking care of distractions. Oh, you have to make it. Yeah, for the viewers, for the viewers, you know, yeah, yeah, yeah. They already think I'm a whore, so you know they're not entirely wrong, but yeah, they already think I'm a whore. Yeah, it is what it is. I've been in my nice, loving relationship, but people still call me a whore. So I get it. I understand. It's hard to believe. Some people look at me and they go, "Wrestler, just can't believe that you're claiming to this day to be a kept man." And I just go, "Define keep." I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Wrestler? What do you mean define keep? I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm a kept man. I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. Just define kept for me. And they're just like, now I don't know. I go, exactly. Keep it ambiguous. What the fuck? I mean, cool. I guess you like the Star Wars saga. I mean, okay. Not really know what I should even say about that. Oh, I got asked a really weird question today. One of my friends, because we were out early today, and I just my I'm being cursed out from beyond the office. I know she was talking about me. Um, so one of the things is somebody was watching. I guess somebody, I don't even know how this really came up. It was a conversation that happened. It was about Michael B. Jordan, I guess. And then I asked, do I think I would have been a decent enough actor if I went into that field to be as good as Michael B. Jordan? I looked around. It was me, two of my other friends, and I was just looking around like saying, "Why are you asking us that? Why are you asking? Like, why are you asking us that? That was really weird." Oh, you say you just heard her? She's jealous at what I bought. I went to go eat some food late tonight, so she's not very happy with it. I was hungry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, actually, it's not my story. I was really hungry. And I was like, why are you asking this question? No, that's not happening. I'm not fixing to do shit. I'm already not doing enough of what I was supposed to be doing. According to my task list, the only thing I was supposed to do today, which is weird that I'm doing this stream, because the only thing I was supposed to be doing today was fixing up my entire stream deck. I was supposed to be taking like reworking my entire stream deck. So that means taking everything, wiping it out, and rebuilding it, which does not sound fun at all. But that's what I was supposed to be doing. I don't know how this live just came through. I don't even know why my before sleeping self set up a live stream. So here we go with that. You love list? What? I mean, sometimes I like my list, sometimes I don't. I think I say most times I don't. I don't like my list, but they need to get done. Oh, damn! I was about to say something, but I can't. But you know what? No, I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Actually, I can talk about that too. Now that I'm thinking about it. All right. So two things I can talk about. I was thinking about last stream that we had because I was going through it very slowly, by the way, and there are some topics in there that I thought about maybe trying to either rehash or have a conversation, yeah, rehash it, for a future conversation specifically on it. But one of the ones that really stuck out to me was the question of conscionery, right? That we kind of just like got into it because I think when I even like not got into it, but when I say like got into it, I mean like we started having the conversation, right? And this is something that I really think I need to go over. Damn, actually, I should probably work on that tonight, if not tomorrow. I should probably think about that a little bit more. But the idea of the question of is Resla a is Resla a cynic? That's what it was. And I've heard this in so many different ways. I've heard I'm a cynic. I've heard I'm a pessimist. I've heard I've heard a lot of different things. And I just always find it weird because I'm like, if you look at how I speak to people, if you look at a lot of my content, if you look at a lot of my titles, if you look at how I speak about the things that we could do, not should, but the things that we could do, how we should reflect on ourselves, how we could reflect on ourselves, how we can look at other people around us. It is very weird that this comes from an aspect of people saying that it's cynicism. And again, I'm not offended by it. It's an opinion, it's a perspective. Now that I'm thinking about it, but this is not the first time. This is not the second time. It's probably not even the third time, to be honest with you, that I have been called, in some sense, a cynic. And I'm thinking I might want to try to address that. I just haven't figured out how I want to do it yet. I don't know if I want to have that as a stream. Probably not. Or if I want to do that as a video, which is I think I'm leaning towards that. You weren't here. You weren't here. Um, he. Okay. He didn't. He did not say I am a cynical person initially. He was leaning towards that from the beginning of his question because that's what made me jump at the question. Right. It wasn't like he didn't ask the question, and I'm not trying to be very nitpicky at the question, but because you know how I am a bit of a nitpick. His initial question was, his question was, would you consider yourself a cynic or a skeptic? That was his question. When I first saw it, I was in my mind like, he said, "Would you?" In my mind was like, he could have said, "Do you?" Not "would you." For some reason, when he said "would you," I was in my mind like, so you already have an opinion about what I do. Um, and then he later on said something like, the reason why he believes I am a cynic, because I told him I'm not a cynic. I told him I am definitely skeptical. I'm definitely a realist, or rather, realist is not even the word I really like. I'm really pragmatic. Actually, that's more likely what I said. But he said his reason was because I focus a lot on and I'm paraphrasing. I focus a lot on the negative aspects of human beings, and I can't remember the entire conversation. Because even when I went back to go watch the stream, it was a 6 hour goddamn stream. You know what I mean? And I was like speeding by, probably on like, like two, if not 2.25 or something like that. So I can't really remember everything that was being said, especially because like he's in the chat and I'm talking. But I'm thinking that I want to address that because, like I said, he's not the first person to say something like that again, like that. And I think just based on the history of my content, I don't understand. I understand. I understand why he may think that. I don't understand, given the evidence of everything that I've been doing for these couple of years, that would still hold weight. Because it's like, what if no one's putting out good vibe content, if no one is out there trying to be a motivational speaker, then everything is just they're a cynic. And I'm not putting that on him. I'm asking like right now to myself, like, is that what that means? Um, I also like think to myself like, is it because, not for nothing, there are plenty of people who look at other people who have to bring up uh, conversations or have content based on conversations that are very cynical, so therefore they're reviewed as a cynic. I mean, not for nothing. Cake put in the whole question of asking about Carmelo Anthony. If I have all these different things I can say about it, or if you have content creators that turn around and they want to review this, somebody could say you're a cynic because all you do is look at very doom and gloom content, and then that's what you showcase. They could be reviewed as a cynic, even though they're looking at content. You know what I mean? So, what exactly does it mean to be based as a cynic? Because as far as I can tell you, and I think this was the point that I was making in that film, in that live stream, was how much consequences do you know for people that are acting in good faith and good behavior? Aren't a lot of our laws against doing things that are not really beneficial towards other people in society? I don't know many people who are getting fines for good acts of behavior, except for like, now that I'm thinking about it, city ordinance. Like, because I've like worked in not fast food, but I've worked in my early part of my year. I worked in before I was ever in compliance or whatever. I worked for a catering hall, and I always think about how people didn't want to feed like the homeless. They didn't want to feed like the leftover food that we like threw in like plastic bags or whatever, or big meals and whole roast pigs and everything like that, and we just couldn't feed the homeless people. And that was because of city ordinance. Like, you could get a fine for feeding the homeless. It was weird, which is a weird a weird roundabout, you could say, because when I was homeless, I worked in a restaurant, just doing very menial things that I could do without officially being on a payroll. I can't say which business it was, just for a meal, just for a good solid meal. So it's really, it's weird. But the idea that I'm a cynic because I cover a lot of negative behavior that people have. I mean, let's be honest. Would we really reflect on a whole lot of I'm thinking about right now. Would we really be reflecting on a whole lot of behavior and conflict and ourselves if I did content that only reflected on good behavior? If my content was about reinforcing, and now I'm thinking about how that would actually turn out. If my content was about reinforcing good behavior, whatever that is. If my content was about focusing and reinforcing good behavior, what we look at as good behavior, and then saying we should do more of that, and here's the great benefits of good behavior, and if you're a person who looks at yourself as being good behavior, then we should just definitely do more of that. Would that really be something that anybody would look at? Because while humans are known to be very ambiguous when it comes to whether they are naturally good people or whether they are naturally bad people, are all based on circumstances, right? It's all, and honestly, when I say based on circumstances, I really mean that, circumstances. Because when I say circumstances and I think good and bad, I'm thinking about if they are in a community, if they are in a country, if they're in a town or a city or a suburb. But the question, the word that's in my mind is, are they doing well? Are they flourishing? And when I think of flourishing, I don't think a lot of people are flourishing. I think a lot of people are just in survival. Even if we turn around, just saying here in our country, right, in the U.S., if we're just paycheck to paycheck, but any paycheck miss can just really cause something cataclysmic in our families and our lifestyles, the decision that we have to make, whether it's, or if we get into an accident or something like that, like how dire that stuff could be for a lot of people. If a lot of people are just really in survival mode, and if I just take that from just the U.S. standpoint, now we just look at the globe, people who don't have a lot of what the Western world has. I'm probably going to do a little bit of research on this, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to do more than a little bit of research. But if I have to look at that across the board now, when I look at the globally, I would say that a lot of people will resort to doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, things that will even pretty much be considered unlawful. So, are a lot of people flourishing? Now that I'm thinking about it, which kind of falls back on my narrative that if given the opportunity, a lot of people will do things that are not necessarily too good. Now, I think the initial question that I was going, because I remember when somebody asked me this a long time ago, was, are people evil? And I said, no, I don't think people are evil, but I think a lot of people will do wrong things. Wrong is different from bad, but they will do a lot of wrong things, or bad things, if you want to put it that way. They will do wrong things because it is easier to sin than it is to do good. That doesn't mean that most people, especially in a communal behavior as human beings are, that we don't necessarily try to do things to help out each other, because, as I tell you guys, life is about choices, trade offs, and people. You need people to get things around. So we have learned to build out our our species by working with each other. But that doesn't mean that everybody works with each other. It really doesn't mean that. We try to, but not everybody works with one another. You know what I mean? Because this is why we have to have so much rules, so many laws and everything, because so many people are bound to try to skate around and get around anything out of the need of survival. It's a very interesting thing. But because I even look at it that way, does that make me a cynic for, does that make me cynical for pointing out, highlighting, and thinking about the things that many people see throughout the globe? Does that make me a cynic for being pragmatic and saying that you shouldn't just trust everybody, because a lot of people are going through some things and you should have an air of awareness to protect yourself, as well as also monitoring your everyday decisions with people, because some people can be trusted and some people can't. I didn't say be risk averse and just saying, oh, hey, don't trust nobody. I mean, not for nothing. If you really want to look at it, like, look at the red pill dudes on podcasts. I would call them cynical. They say don't date, don't, all of the women are whores. All of them are whores. Like, don't get married, don't do, like, I don't say that. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought. Whether I am a cynic or I am pragmatic or rather a skeptic. And I think that's something that I will need to go through. I will need to go through, and I think at some point I will have to do some. I'll have to sit here at this desk, and I'll have to really go through my content. I will really have to go through. Honestly, now that I think about it right now, because I'm looking at my YouTube studio, because YouTube has Gemini. If Gemini is able to go through my content, then Gemini should be able to point out whether I'm a skeptic or not, right? Well, I don't know how Gemini works. I don't know how, is it like Grok? Well, I don't really know how Grok works. I'm not really on X. Is it like, now I'm wondering. Huh. Hmm. I don't know. What were you guys saying? Sorry, I was in my own. Once I thought about that, I was in my own head, so I stopped looking at what you guys were saying. Um, where was I at? Let's see. Oh, Chris, what's going on? Chris was in here. You said interesting. You said what is wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with being cynical. I think there's a there is a healthy people should have a healthy amount of there's a healthy amount of the cynical behavior. There's nothing wrong with being a cynic. Um, I think the problem. No, let me not. Okay, I'm already saying that wrong because the moment I said it, like I just heard myself screaming at myself like, "What the fuck are you saying?" Um, there's nothing wrong with a healthy dose of cynicism. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue that I tend to run across with the ideal, the aspect of being a cynic is it is more on the mindset of you already have your mind made up as to this is the nature of said scenario or said people, and you're really not open to the ideal of changing your mind. You already have a preconceived notion of the world or the situation at hand. And that's not necessarily the approach that I take to a lot of things. If anything, I say if this is what we're seeing in the world, then what should we be doing about ourselves to change it? That's typically my approach. But I don't think everybody sees that once they read a title or I don't know. I really don't know how we get to that point, you know? You said you wouldn't say that you are in your opinion. I mean, I appreciate that. Uh, you said Con has been around, so it's interesting. I mean, damn, you dropped another. Thank you for that, cake. Appreciate you for the super chat. Oh, they need that. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I I was when I was going back to take a look at the stream, I put I put timestamps, so you should be able to see it, KM. It was very like because I was going, I was like, yo, I can't be digging through this again. So I literally, as I was watching the stream, I was putting in timestamps. So if you go down to the comment section, you'll see the timestamps in that stream because it's 6 hours and change. So I was like, shit, I don't want to go back and have to go look for this shit again. So as I was going through it, I was diving through. Thank goodness I did that too. Jesus Christ. Um, you said I focus on all behaviors. I do. I do focus. Oh, I'm not all behaviors. I can't touch every behavior. It's crazy. But I do try to touch on a lot of different behaviors that happen out there. Um. Oh, Cake, you're still here. Okay. You said you think this world is out of controversy. Oh, well, you said I think this world is out of controversy, but you had a question mark, and you said not peace. I'm not. I'm not really sure where your question is. That a question or really a statement, Chris? Just let me know real quick. Dom was good. See, Dom is in there. Sounds like you are being honest. I mean, honesty doesn't always sound very nice to people. And you keep in mind, your honest opinion or your honest critique in the moment is just in the moment. It doesn't mean that that's just your foundation going forward. I mean, people are allowed to change, people are allowed to grow. But I understand because I hold it to also my first rule, which is when you're on the internet, be mindful about what you say. But if I'm saying what's in my mind, and then I change it even later on, it's like I'm allowed to do that. Everybody's allowed to change and grow. Not that I think I've said anything that was wrong in this opinion. You said you're not trusting hardly anyone. Hey, we got the winch in here. What's going on? How you doing? You said I'm a journalist. That's interesting. Uh, Journalist is not something I would think of myself as. Definitely opinionated, but a journalist is not something I would consider for myself. But I appreciate that. When I'm in extreme in what? What am I extreme in? Huh? What am I extreme in? Stand your ground. Different perspectives are needed depending on. Yeah, yeah. I I don't worry about it. The issue is that I think a lot of people will see that, or maybe they attest it, or they attribute that to other creators, or just on the things that are being talked about. So here's a great example, right? Because you're making me really think about you're making me really think about this. Khan, sorry, you're not here. I think I'm really have to put a video. If I don't think I want to do a live stream, but I'm really gonna think about like maybe a video for this, not for him, but for even any other people who might be feeling the same way. I just think it's something that I need to be able to clarify, so people can try to understand what they're seeing when they come to my platform. Because here's what just crossed my mind: police officers have to deal with people on a regular basis. They deal with a lot of negative interactions as well as positive interactions. Does it make them cynical to be a police officer? No. Does it make is a lawyer cynical? No. There's many type of lawyers. If a doctor has to make a diagnosis, are they cynical because they have to make a diagnosis because they have to look at the things that are wrong with a patient? I wouldn't think so. So when we are talking about cynicism, what exactly do we mean? That's my thought. That just like it just hit me right now. Like, I wouldn't call a doctor a cynic. I wouldn't call a psychologist a cynic. But people are showing up to them because they think that there's something that is wrong. I think I approach many things the same way. I try to see the things that people are really saying that is wrong. We look at the behavior. How many of us are probably holding on to that same kind of behavior? Let us take a look at ourselves. If you're someone who might be falling down that hole, or you know someone who might be going down that hole, what do we do to protect ourselves? Or what do we do to make ourselves better people? That's typically the route that I go. But because I'm covering it, does that, because my covering it, because that's the thing that stands out, does that make me a cynic? It's an interesting position that I've heard before, that I'm hearing again, and I'm feeling like I need to address it because it's going to come up one more time. And I think when somebody brings it up the next time, I'll have to tell them I have a video for that. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do a video because I think if I do a stream, we don't know how long the stream's gonna go. So I may have to, you know what? Maybe we'll do both. I don't know, but I need something to highlight to showcase to people, to document for people so that they understand. In case you're feeling this way, here's something that was written for it. Here's something that was published for it. So after all that, tell me how you feel again. You know. And by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, um, if I drag in like Gemini, I've never really used Gemini, but I know like I keep getting on my desktop. I keep getting like the the little, oh yeah, for those who don't know, like if you're not a content creator, on your channel desktop, YouTube will recommend like different features of things to use. So like on the creator inside, I was looking at it right now, it's talking about using Gemini. Gemini is the AI that they use for, I guess, YouTube in general, or specifically, sorry, wow, in for YouTube. So I'm thinking like I'll check out the features and see what it is, because it's not, it's like meant for creators or whatever. And I've never used it, so I wonder how good it is, or if it's any good at all. Hell if I know. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're here right now, right? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna ask it very basic questions. Damn, I am not. I'm not on. I am not on StreamYard. So let me see. Let me look for something. This one. If I did that, if I did this. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do real quick. What I can do, what I can't do. I don't know. This is not really turning out the way that I thought, because it wants me to showcase something. Can I? All right. So I'm gonna look up Gemini real quick. I'm gonna expand this, right? All right. And then I'm gonna show this. Actually, can I switch views? And that will be better for me. I don't even know. All right, that might do it. Keyword is might. Give me a moment here. We'll do this. We'll do that. And I think that might cover it. All right, so I'm gonna go. Oh, Kanshani, what's going on? Well, just mentioning. I don't know if you got, if you, someone gave you the 411 or whatever, but I was just talking about it because I was just thinking about what you were saying about the whole cynicism thing, and I was thinking about responding to the ideal, if I am or not, in a video. But what I want to do is, before I even go in there, because I thought it's very interesting, right? A very interesting concept. Your ears weren't even burning. I literally, I just started talking about it. I was talking about possibly, because you're not the first person to say that to me, right? I can't remember who it was, but it was like years ago. So it might have been like in the earlier parts of my content creation. And then I was saying, and then you said it, and I was like, and I know, like, I don't even know if people have said this to me in my actual life. I'm pretty sure they probably did as well. But I was like, yo, people say this thing, and I'm like, it's very weird that that comes up, especially when people can talk, look at the totality, or the way how I approach very specific situations, and it's very interesting. And I was like, maybe I should just talk about doing a live stream, or maybe I'll just like really do a deep dive on my own content, things like that, like do an audit kind of like on myself or whatever, and then see if that's what it is, or if it really is something else like that. Because to me, I'm not necessarily, I don't look at myself as a cynic at all. I look at myself as very much a pragmatist. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go through this, I'll go through that, but most of all, we need to have a less biased eye. And then as I was talking about it, it was KM that sparked the idea in my head, and I was like, YouTube has Gemini now. So there's an AI that goes through to help I guess, content creators with their content. I don't know. I was struggling with that for a moment, but content creators with their content. If I ask Gemini, because it doesn't, at least what I understand, doesn't look for outside sources. It's strictly for content creators. If I asked it questions, what would it say about me and my content? So I was about to just switch over to a desktop because I'm not on StreamYard. I know people are like, oh, you drop a link. I'm not on StreamYard. Like, first of all, I don't. Not that I need fucking StreamYard, but whatever. Uh, so what I was gonna do is I was gonna go to my page. Oops, that is very big. So let me go to another setting I have here. Nope, not that. Nope. Oh, cause duh, fucking idiot. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Let me go to this one here. What is going on? What is going on? It is because. What am I saying? Why is it because? Okay, let me go back. I'm screwing up. This is what's got to go. Let's go here. It's been a while. Sorry, I haven't done this. Here we go. All right, so I want to pull up this. We're going to try this to the side. Can I do... All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do... So you guys can see this? Let me know if you guys can see. I can see myself on here side. So yeah, so you guys should be able to see this. All right. Let me see if I could find... What was the Gemini thing? Support, help, ask you to ask studio. Okay, here we go. Okay, so question right off the bat is asking how you can help me summarize comments, suggest new video ideas, summarize channel performance. We're not gonna do all that. So we're just gonna get straight. And actually, you know what? Do me a favor, Con. Damn. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. Brings Khan right to me. Do me a favor, Khan. Since this was your question, right? I want you to give me the prompt for me to ask Gemini. I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick. Just give me the prompt, and I'm gonna put it into Gemini. So, give me the prompt, because you were asking me about, or rather, you were stating that I could be a cynic based on. It was something you were saying. What, based on something? Yes, I want you to ask a question to get us started off, because I could just write, "Hey, do you see me as a cynic?" But I don't know if that's the way you want to ask the question. When I did this before as content, right? I was, quote, manipulating. Like I'm this fucking master AI manipulator. So I was manipulating the content. You know what I mean? So I want you to, I want you to ask the question. Just get us started, and then we can dive from there. Because you were saying there was a reason why you believe that I am a cynic. So I want you to just start that up. No, I'm not beating myself over it at all. Not at all. I just think this is a great way to do it in real time. Gemini is supposedly meant strictly for content creators to help them with their stuff. So that means it should be able to dig through my content. It should be. Should be. I don't know. I haven't used it. I think it's supposed to be for YouTube in general. So I don't know if it's like does outside query searches or something like that. I don't know. But I know it's here, and I keep getting my little notifications and even my emails saying, "Hey, try Gemini. Gemini is here to help YouTube creators do blah 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 blah." So I don't know if You know what? If I dug back, right? So I'm gonna test this out right now. Um, Tell me about my opinionated. Oh, let's just do tell right. Tell me about opinionated content in season 1. Let's try that. Reviewing my request. Looking through content. Okay. So here's what it says. Season 1, mid 2024. Okay, so far, kind of accurate. Kind of accurate. I actually started in late. My first episode started in late December 2023. But still, not bad. It's pointing out particular key themes and topics. Episode 10, definitely during season 1. First quarter live in. Okay. Episode 48, still in season 1. Live stream, talking about my live streams will go between 2 and 3 hours. Oh, okay. So we know it can dig into content. Okay. So far, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I guess that's a warm up question. So that's pretty good. To me, that's a good start. It's not. We didn't say wonderful, but it's a good start. It literally stayed within season 1, so that's something to think about. So it looks like it can analyze my content, which is honestly better than I thought. Just for my first query. So what was the? Do you want me to ask if like reviewing my content? I guess if I'm a cynic, or do you have a very a specific way that you want to ask that question? I'll literally put it in that way. Because now it won't be based on my personal assessment or even your personal assessment. It will do its own assessment. I don't even know how it's going to answer that, but or if it can answer that. It's very interesting. I'm now kind of wondering myself. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be very interesting. Let me know if you got anything very specific, or if I should just wing it and just jump in. Do 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 do. I don't know. I don't know if Khan is still with us. Come on, God, you woke him up and you brought him in the chat. Come on, keep him with us. Nope. Okay. I guess I'll ask the very basic question. Reviewing. You got shadow banned. What the fuck? What the fuck? Wait, what do you mean shadow banned? Uh, See if it has any thoughts on whether the tone of the rhetoric used in nature. I mean, here's the truth of the matter of that, Con. If that's if that's your query, even I can tell you that the answer will be yes. That even I can say that. I don't even think it really needs to go that far. If you're gonna say the tone and rhetoric used could be considered cynical, even I can answer that. I didn't see my comment. Now I do. Yeah, yeah. There's some weird like you. All your comments just started flooding in. Didn't like for some reason. I mean, I'm a bit out of the moment. I remember this precisely what it was reacting at that time. I don't recall either. It was a couple of days. It was a couple of days ago, not a few days ago. But I do know you were asking me, and the I remember how you started the conversation because you asked me, would I consider myself to be a cynic or a skeptic? And to me, I was like, it. Why did you put it that way? Like, not do I consider myself to be it, but would I? And that kind of let me know like you probably have it in your ideal, just based on my own personal experience, that you probably have in your idea that I am a cynic. And then your response when I said I wasn't, I didn't consider myself to be a cynic, but rather um, or more of a realist. You were asking me, or rather, you weren't asking me. You were stating like the reason why is because I focus a lot on negative behavior. I guess is the best way I can put it. I'm paraphrasing, and I was just like, a lot of people have negative behavior, you know. So if a lot of my content is based on if this is a behavior that we have, what can we do to get better? Does that really make me cynical? It was interesting, and honestly, damn, KM for the win again. She's reminding me because I was going through the content um, that night, and I remember I was like, this is probably something I'm gonna go back to, and I started putting in timestamps because KM wasn't there that stream, so we were talking about it earlier today before you came in, and I was like, KM, I think you can see it because I put timestamps. Timestamps. Wow, Jesus Christ. Timestamps. But I don't know if I put timestamps of that particular event. But I put timestamps of a lot of other things that I thought that I ran across because I was speed ramping it as I do most of the time when I end the stream. So let me find it. Let me find that content, and then we could see it if I put timestamps. So here we are live right now. I'm gonna do this.
I bet you do mean
Oh
hard
my
iPad.
god. Oh my god. Here I am already with the bullshit. So shut up. Let's see. I did put timestamps. I just don't know what I put timestamps of. Let's see. Unfair advantages. The critics and haters. Critiques. Oh, critiques of the Faniverse and this drama. It doesn't. I don't think I put one of yours though. Mm. Public research and a straw man argument. I don't think I put one of when you asked me, and I can't say when it was. Now that I'm thinking about it, you said you think I got the gist of it. Mm. Yeah, it's just like I don't think I see it here. So all right, let's go back. I'm a, I'll be just, let's just ask straight up. Content. Would reviewing requests. So it says reviewing wrestlers' content. Would you consider him a cynic? gathering comments on videos. Oh shit. It's going through the comments. It's going through comments. I don't think there's many people that trash me in comments. Then again, I don't really have a big comment base. Like, not many people like respond to me in comments, except in shorts, I guess. Huh. Interesting. I don't mainly do videos, so I don't think I get a lot of comments. I don't think it's gonna be that long. Most of my streams, people don't write in the comments, even in the replay game. So I'd be surprised if it's gonna. Oh no. So, analyzing your content on Resla. The term cynic does not quite capture the full scope of your perspective. Huh. While undeniably critical and skeptical of societal norms, I do that. Your content suggests that something more aligned with realism or stoicism? Huh? Stoicism than a real. Really? Stoicism? Me? Huh. Okay, so where did it get this idea from? Skeptic versus hope, frequently challenge the mainstream narratives. I do. Such as the American dream, corporate loyalty. I do that as well. Yep, and especially the motives of other content creators. A pure cynic, a pure cynic believes people are motivated by self-interest. I mean, most of us are, and that changes are impossible. However, in an episode, and they point out in the episode, this is episode 1. So that means I've been doing this for a while. You emphasize the personal growth and the incremental changes. I do believe it's baby steps. Are you are saying that the world's most are not hopeless, and you're saying that you would stop the delusion. So this is according to not only the episode itself, but apparently the comment section. Now I'm wondering what was in the comments. Oh, it was one comment. It's legit one. Best way to shine is in the light when it's not dim. Okay, it was literally basing that off of one comment. So it was looking at the stream and looking at the comment. Interesting, very interesting. Um, hmm. Now we talked about the community engagement, but it looked like it's picking off of. So it looks like okay. So it looks like it's picking off of just season 1. If I'm really looking at this, it went from season 2 to episode 2 from episode 16. So my audience sees me as informative, well spoken. They like the polarizing sensitive topics. They like the role of facilitators. Uncomfortable truths is what they feel. That's based on comments as well. Critical realism. So I'm not getting cynicism. Okay. So let me ask what about got that B in there. What about throughout Resla's content? I just totally butchered that one up. So here we go. What about throughout Resla's content? Is he a cynic? Damn. So across the full breadth of Resla's content, perspectives. I wish I can expand this more. I can't. Okay. Which contrasts with the hopelessness. Wait, what? Say that again. While you often disconnect the societal expectations, your content is grounded as a desire for utility. I need my glasses or something. And a personal accountability, which contrasts to the hopelessness typically found in cynicism. So, according to this, it says no, I'm not a cynic. The pursuit of usefulness. Oh my god, I already know where that's gonna go. So that I know it's not gonna point towards that. Reviews are often the point that takes value, relevance versus useful. This is something I actually had a big back and forth with someone else who's no longer with us. A cynic and mitigated argument. I mean, Khan, tell me what you think about this, because I know what it's. I know personally what it's talking about for this, for under the pursuit of usefulness. I know what this content is about, but I know what it's referring to because I just saw the words technological philosophy. So I know who it's referring to. This was a big back and forth that I had in my comment section with Gatsby. So this, we were arguing two different things. Something he was arguing something that should not have been something to argue with, to be honest with you, because it wasn't the topic at all. And then up here it says the growth, focus on growth and truth. So the topic was, let me go take a look real quick, because it wasn't, I know it wasn't the most recent live. It was a video actually. Let me go look the videos real quick. So the video was on my rendition of the Horace Mann stream. So we there was a quote from Horace Mann. Was it a stream? Or was that something I was just watching? I think it was just something I was watching. I can't remember now. There's so much I do. But I did a video on a Horace Mann quote, and the quote says, "Damn, I'm losing myself. Hold up,
Treated people.
I'm losing myself." So the Horace Mann quote is, "Be ashamed, be ashamed to die until you've accomplished some victory for humanity." That's the quote. And I remember I was having a conversation with myself about it before I wanted to do the video. And to me, I was just pointing out my own particular perspective on it to say, like, it to me, it's not about. I got a whole video on it, but basically, the whole point of me talking about it was not about the things that you should do to be able to be the best in the world or be whatever, but it was about your outcomes. What are the things that you're doing to be able to have your outcomes so that you would do something that is beneficial to the world? Not when I said the world, I mean like to the people around you. Are you doing something, like, say, even when we're doing this videos or we're having this conversation, are these are the things that's going to be something that could possibly influence or change someone's lives for the future? You know what I mean? um but however, instead of me and what I was doing focusing on the outcomes, that don't worry about, like, stop strategizing, stop thinking too deeply about it, stop preparing. When are you going to create action? Because action is the thing that matters more than anything else. You can sit there, you can ponder, and you can pontificate and fucking strategize, but you need to use action in order to make a thing be present in not just your life but also for someone else's life, right? And the truth of the matter is that the truth of the matter is, all right, man, I see you. I'm on East Coast too. So, um, the truth of the matter is that you may not even get recognized until well after your death. The same way how many people are so influenced by Tesla today, but it wasn't until way after his death where people start really taking stock in him. You know. So the argument that Gatsby was having versus me was he was talking about the whole engagement. If you don't engage with people, then they won't be. And I'm like, what does that have to do with my argument? First of all, there wasn't even an argument, to be honest with you. I was like, if you're going to do something, go ahead and just get it done. Get it done. You don't know. You don't even know when it's going to take effect. You don't know who you're going to be able to influence down the line. I'm pretty sure that there are children of the Rockefeller family, right, who are happy to be rich and happy to have an inheritance and happy to have their private bank and everything because of something that Rockefeller did way down the line. He created something that was beneficial down the line. He didn't just think about it. Gatsby is arguing engagement while I'm arguing about results. So you get it? Which was it was back and forth about something that had nothing to do with the actual conversation. And I think maybe he just had content brain. Everything is about engagement. Everything's about getting attention, rather than what could be beneficial even when you're not here. You know. So that was that whole big thing between that. Um, but here it's also talking about accountability versus victimhood, which is interesting. It doesn't seem like it got it from any particular type of content, but it is talking about victim mentality, some hard truths, things that happen throughout debates and social media, for their trends. There is some direct feedback that looked like it came from comment sections. One is from KDK, and the other one's from someone named Liam. I'm not sure who that is. In summary, it said my hard truths pretty much as a creator. I'm not telling people that the world is bad, that the world is bad to make mistakes, and basically so sad for them, but that the world is actually complex, so that people need to make what smarter decisions. That's kind of what I do already. So this is a strategic skepticism. Interesting. I didn't see that happening, but it doesn't seem like it's really leaning into quote cynicism. I didn't think it was actually going to. And that's just me. I just don't see myself as that. I was actually looking for a pleasant surprise because the truth of the matter is that there's nothing wrong with having a healthy amount of cynicism. You can be a healthy cynic. To me, I just don't think that living in a state of cynicism is a great thing because you already have your mind made up on people, on situations, on places and spaces. And to me, it's like, so that means there's no way to grow. There's no way to get past it. There's no way to do better. There's no, like, what are we doing here? And that's just not like the idea of just being saying that this is the way it is. People won't change. Things won't change. That's just the way it is. Never really sat with me. So that's why, like, when you say, like, I think that sometimes you look at the negatives when it comes to people, and that's why I think that you might be a cynic. I'm just like, there are so many different aspects to be able to look at negative things, and I don't think that you're a cynic because of it. I think part of the thing I was saying before earlier was if you are a mental health professional, if you are a psychiatrist, you're not a cynic for treating patients. People come in with problems, and you have to focus on those problems in order to help them get them in a healthier place. If you are a doctor, or whether it's a surgeon or ER or whatever, you have to deal with a lot of negative situations. You have to look for all the bad things that are happening when it comes to people. That doesn't mean that you are a cynic. So when I'm thinking about these things, I'm like, to me, a lot of people who are doom and gloomers, like like the people who say black pillars, you know what I mean? Like they're cynics. And even when I think about some of these red pill content creators, they're fucking cynics, or at the very least, they're fucking hypocrites. It could be that as well. It's just it's weird because you're not the only person who's brought that to my attention, so I'm not labeling it particularly for you, which is why I found it so funny that you showed up in the stream. But I'm thinking I might want to document this as something to have a conversation about because at some point, I don't know if it's now, I don't know if it's a year from now, I don't know if it's 5 years from now, someone's gonna turn around and say, Resla, I think that you're a cynic, and I need to be able to point back to examples that say, I understand how you feel that way, but just based on the content, this is what it is. You know what I mean? Well, you say the issue with cynicism is the idea that things are mixed. Well, I think part of the issue that we have to look at is that cynicism, what makes you what makes a cynic different from a skeptic? And what makes a skeptic from a realist or a pragmatic? These are the things that matter. And I think people just take, if, or a pessimist. It, a lot of people say things and then and I'm not saying that you have, but I've dealt with people who have, they conflate. They add things into things that are not there. So I was in my mind just thinking like maybe this is something that I might need to go through just so, well, number one, we can all have the definition of all these things. And then from there, am I this thing? And I guess if anything, since I have to leave people with some kind of route to go through, what are some of the steps or some of the things that we can do to make better discernments in the future? That's where my mindset was going tonight, about possibly building that content for the future. Because I think some people, and not for nothing, I'm thinking about it right now, I think there are people that might point out, not just me, but other people, as being cynics or pessimists or whatever. Maybe because, not even really because of what the person is doing, but because maybe they view the world in a negative lens. And because they view the world in a negative lens, they view other people with a negative lens as well. So who's the real critic or skeptic or whatever? What eye are you looking at the world in? And why are you looking at it that way? Like, when I think of the people who are jaded and they're saying things like, oh, women are whores or whatever, like, but you have a jaded point of view. Why do you have that? Do you have it because of personal experience, or do you have it because of things that you've been subjected to? Maybe you've seen things vicariously, or are you indoctrinated because you've been hearing this from so many of your podcasters? Whatever. It's so interesting to see how people start solidifying their points based on where they're gathering information from. You said one of the things you think to myself useful in the discussion was the inclusion of the term stoicism. Yeah, stoicism was weird to me. I didn't expect it. Stoics often can confuse with cynics. I don't view stoics and cynics the same. I understand what you're saying if they get confused, but I really don't see them the same. Because to me, cynics are very vocal and stoics are not. Like, stoics really should be opening up and saying way more than they do, but they don't. And that can be misconstrued in so many different ways. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't quite get it, but it is interesting. More people who I meet at stores, I'm like, yo, you really just open your mouth and just really say something about that. And I ain't even worried about it. Like, I'm gonna take the high road, but you don't express what's going on, and therefore it brings on further problems in the future. Like, open your mouth, let them know what's going on, let them know how you truly feel, let them know you don't tolerate this, and that'd be the end of it. But instead, it's really weird. But this is not something I tend to see when it comes to people who are cynics. Cynics will love to tell you why something is wrong, why something won't work, and I'm just like, dude, like, it's not. Well, number one, it's not that serious. Number two, you gave way too much information that what was even called for. Like, cynics are people like I run across who are like, oh, you want to try that, wrestler? I could tell you 5 reasons why it won't work. I'm like, 5 reasons? All I need is one. All I need is one reason. You want to give me 5? Why 5? All I need is one reason why it won't work, and you want to give me 5. It's crazy. I run into a lot of stoics who, even when they think about what they want to say, they don't want to voice it. To them, it's either it's a waste of breath, or because they think the other person won't change. I don't think that they're a cynic about that. I just think that they're choosing their time and they choosing them their self and even their peace. I just think that not everything can be solved by just being quiet, because bad behavior does need to get called out. I mean, most stoics who I run across are guys in relationships. It's not single guys. It's guys who are in relationships, or guys who are dealing in a baby mama situation. Those are the guys I tend to really run across who are stoic. Average guys moving around the street, working, I don't see them as stoics. They don't tend to move around as being stoic. It's normally guys who I run into that's been in a situation. That's just like, and like honestly, now that I think about it, and it's a bad way to look at it, some of the cynics, not I'm stuck on that word. Some of the stoics that I'm running across, I think, are guys that they just don't want to rock the boat. They're just looking for as much peace as possible. They just don't really want to fight back. Now that I'm thinking about it, like fighting back is just gonna be too much of a problem, too much energy. So I'm just gonna let it rock. I'm just gonna let it rock. You know what? Just let him, let the kid, let her, let the girlfriend, let him, just let him have at it. It's all right. And I think there are a lot of guys that claim to be stoics and they're really not. They're really not. Which is why I'm actually really surprised that it even tried to look at me as being a stoic, because that's not something I would call myself. Not for nothing, he's a great example of that. Khan, you said it right now. A skeptic needs evidence. I literally went throughout today just trying to look for evidence, even as I was thinking about it. Like, I know I'm a skeptic. I don't just follow what people just say or just follow my own ideas and run. Like, I gotta challenge myself. If I'm thinking, is that really true? Let me go do some research. Where did I get that from? Let me go to the CDC. Let me go here. Let me go look for this blog post. Let me go look. That's what I do all the time. It was a good time. Like, I do that a lot. Even when I have a particular idea that I feel like I'm really right about, if I don't have enough evidence to back it up, I go look for it. So it's very weird when, like, if I could be a cynic, but a stoic, that's even weird. That's more. It's weird for me to be considered a stoic than it is for me to be considered a cynic. It really is weird. That's not something I would see myself as at all, and I have to see that from something that is reviewing at least my season 1. I don't know. I might have to play around with this a little bit more just to see what it can really do now. Hmm. I'm gonna have to like really. I'm gonna have to look at one of my audits, because I do that all the time. I have my own personal audits that I keep touch base on, um, to make sure that I'm on my role. I'm on my path, and I do that like every couple of months or whatever. Um, so I have my own personal audit when it comes to myself, and I got one that's also a part of my content. But now I see this as well. I might want to think about my content, and then if this is reliable, everything should be questioned. You know what I mean? Oh, which kind of makes me a skeptic. Okay, but even everything here should be questioned, and that just means like to see what works and what doesn't work, and what's true or what we can actually take at a face value. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't see many Stoics as complainers. Yeah. Oh, trust me. I have. That's why I'm very weirded out that it called me a Stoic, because I have no problem complaining. I will complain. I will complain. Like the whole late live and let live shit. Not really in my philosophy. Not really in mine. Like that. Not really in mine at all. I am like, no, 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 no. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm being called King Petty. Like I will get my get back. Like so even with that, now I wonder what it thinks about because it looked like it was really focused on my season one. Now I'm gonna what it thinks about the rest of me. I don't think I'm gonna use it though. To be honest with you, I'm kind of okay with the direction I'm going in. It's let's be honest. I don't think it's gonna be really that rugged with me. I don't think it's gonna be ruthless on with me like as I would be with myself. So who knew? Tom, have you ever tried the Gemini AI on YouTube Studio? I just gave it a try for the first time. Not that I did a lot with it, because I was just looking at it today when they gave me the Creator Insider. Creator Insider, like you haven't used Gemini yet. I was like, the fuck is? I don't know what that little star thing is. And now I guess I do. Now I gotta see what how far else it can go. So see from there. It's very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna think about how to figure out this video, because I think it's a video that I want to do for sure, just so I can have it documented, just so we can have a little bit more clarification on what these things are, how people probably would want to look at it, and whether the titles that they are having are they accurate. I don't know how long it would take me to do that, but now that's in my mind, I'm thinking it might be a project. It might be a project. Outside of that, just had no real intention at the time of even being here, being live tonight. So there's that. Damn, and it's already past midnight, and I still got to turn around and rework the stream deck. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that before I think about crashing for tonight. Um, so yeah, thanks for you guys who actually showed up here for tonight. Cons, this was God at work apparently, bringing you in. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here because I gotta work on this stream deck. I mean, I gotta wipe everything and then bring everything back to life, so I can try to have something a little bit more smooth and able to work on. Um, thanks for everybody who showed up. Thank you, Cake, for the donations as well. Thank you, KM as well for the donations as well, and everybody who actually showed up. I gotta work on as well to put comments on the screen or whatever because I that was one of the things I wiped out already, so I couldn't have the regular stackable ones here. But also to put comments on the screen, I gotta work on that as well because that's other things I got wiped on because a lot of people think like, oh, you gotta be if you're online, you gotta be on Streamyard. No, I'm not. But I'll see you guys. Thanks for everything, and take care of yourself until the next one. Just keep yourself apprised. Sub if you haven't, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, later, y'all.